Welcome back. Dr. Aaron Chadwick here, part of Your Nutrition Physicians. And today we're talking about how your tongue tells a condition of your health. Tongue diagnosis goes back over 1,000 years in ancient China. And in ancient China, they realized that you can see the condition of your organ systems through your tongue. So looking at your tongue is like getting an endoscopy done or an MRI of your organ systems without having to do those things. So let's talk about it. So a healthy tongue is a normal tongue is pink in color, has a normal size to it, and it has a very thin white coating on it. That's a healthy tongue. Now, what's in the tongue is blood and fluids inside of your tongue. So that's what makes the tongue pink, is the blood inside of it. So when a tongue becomes pale, we call that a deficiency. It's deficient in what? It's deficient in blood and body fluids. So you're not drinking enough water and you may have anemia or your blood is deficient. But the way it normally shows up as a sign and symptoms when you have a pale tongue body is you're going to be cold, because pale means cold. You're going to be cold. You're going to have a hard time losing weight. You're going to be lethargic. Your moods will be typically depressed. You may have hair loss and hormonal signs. If you're female, if you have a pale tongue, you're typically going to have very severe menstrual cramps because cold causes more pain in the body. A swollen tongue is also a deficiency. It means your body's deficient. Deficient in what? It's deficient in the ability to move the fluid inside your body. So a swollen tongue, you're either going to have digestive problems or you're going to have kidney issues where you're going to get swollen somewhere in your body because the fluids in your tongue, if it's building up there, it's building up somewhere inside your body. Sometimes in your arms and legs, sometimes in your lungs, your digestive system, even your heart can be swollen, and it can show up as a swollen tongue body. When the tongue is peeled or mirrored, again, a healthy tongue has a thin white coating on it. But if the tongue coating is peeled, which means it has no coating, it kind of looks like a mirror, what we call glossy, it reflects, that means your body's deficient. Deficient in what? The tongue is an extension of your digestive system. So if you have a peeled or mirrored tongue, it means you're deficient in your good bacteria in your gut. So you need to take a good probiotic, because that's what it's telling us, that your body, being that the tongue is peeled or mirrored, it means you're deficient in good bacteria. Now, we contrast the deficient tongue, being pale, swollen, and peeled and mirrored, to an excess tongue, which is typically red and is thin and has a thick coating to it. The redness means that there's heat in the body. There's heat in the body. Again, contrast that with a pale tongue, which means cold. A red tongue is going to have signs of heat, which are typically signs of inflammation. And heat causes the body to sweat easy. So you'll typically sweat easy with a red tongue. Again, a pale tongue, going to be more cold easily. And women who go through menopause typically have a red tongue because they're having hot flashes. That's heat inside the body. But men could have heat also, meaning that they sweat more excessively day or night. That's a sign of heat. Other signs of heat include headaches or dizziness, and lightheadedness is a sign of heat inside the body. We know that having red eyes or having dryness in your mouth or thirst, that's a sign of heat inside your body, and that shows up in your tongue as having a red tongue body. Again, an excess tongue can also be thin. If your body of your tongue is thin, that means that your body is using up the fluids also. The heat is burning the fluids inside your body. And that's more severe. A thin red tongue body can be a more severe condition. It means that your joints are also drying up. So people who typically have a red and thin body are typically people who have arthritis and joint problems, because that heat is drying up all the joint fluids in your body, and that's not a good thing. So we don't want to have a red and thin tongue body. We don't want to have a thick coat, too. Again, we want to have a healthy tongue. Normal tongue has a thin white coat. When we have a thick coat on your tongue, that means that your body is not digesting your food properly. So your food residue is staying. So when you have a thick coating on your tongue, that means you have more mucus in your intestines. When you have more mucus in your intestines, you can also have asthma, because that's more mucus in the lungs. When you have thick mucus in your intestines and showing up on your tongue, that can also show up as sinus congestion and allergies. It's very, very common to see a thick coating on the tongue when a person has allergies, or even children who have ear infections, Or a child who has a cold or flu, they're going to have a thick coating on their tongue, which is an excess condition, an excess of a pathogen. In the case of a cold or flu, it means you have a bacteria or virus in your body, and that shows up as a thick coating. Now, we also can look at the tongue not only for the different sizes and the color and the shape, but we can also look to the different areas of your tongue. And we break down the areas of your tongue in 3 different areas. Okay, we have the back of the tongue, the middle of the tongue, and the front of the tongue. The back of the tongue equates to your kidneys and your intestines. So the nerves for your kidneys come up to the back of the tongue, and so do the nerves of the intestines. So, for example, if you have paleness in the back of your tongue, you know either your kidneys and your intestines are more out of balance. The middle of your tongue is related to your digestive system, specifically your spleen and your stomach. So some people have cracks in that area. Some people have little red markings or pale markings in the middle of your tongue. That means there's an imbalance in your digestive system. And the front of your tongue relates to your lungs, and to the tip of your tongue relates to your heart. So a person who has asthma or lung breathing problems, shortness of breath, they're going to have an imbalance in the color or the cracks, and they're going to show up more in the front of the tongue. If it's the very tip of the tongue, that has to do with the heart. And it's not only is it the physical heart that can have a problem if you have a red tongue on your tip or a pale tongue, but it can also mean that you're emotionally upset because the heart is where the nerves to the heart. The heart is the ruler of all your emotions, and we can see emotional problems in a red tip. Typically, people with anxiety and stuff too have a lot of issues with the tip of the tongue being red. Okay, so that's kind of it for the tongue diagnosis. This is Dr. Aaron Chadwick. I'm part of Your Nutrition Physicians. Please like this video and follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. And on every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we do a free question and answer period. That's from 7 p.m. to 7:45 every Monday night. You can click on the link below. We're Your Nutrition Physicians, and you can join us and you can ask your health questions, and we'll answer them for you. We invite everybody to come on. You please share it with your neighbors, your friends, your family, and have them do that. And also, too, we're going to be doing a more involved class. We call it a challenge. It's going to be a 5-day class. You're going to learn more about your body and your health and your symptoms and how to get rid of all these different types of things that you suffer from, things like headaches and digestive problems and allergies and hormone problems. We're going to be talking about that in our 5-day challenge coming up in July. So please follow us, and we can give you notifications when we do those things again. Okay? This is Dr. Aaron Chadwick again, part of Your Nutrition Physicians. God bless you guys, and we'll see you next time.